a note. This was from Brett McMurphy, but it's actually because of an interview that George Kliavkoff, Pac-12 commissioner, had an interview with, or was on with John Wellner and John Canzano. And here's McMurphy's take on it. He told the two, we are sure UCLA is better off financially by staying in the Pac-12 than joining the Big Ten. Said UCLA's travel cost will offset differences in media rights, which is one reason the Big Ten will add more from the Pac-12. So McMurphy taking what Kliavkoff said and saying, okay, maybe he's right, but then that's also why a couple of other teams in the Pac-12 might still be on the table.
I have a ton of questions about this comment for George Kliavkoff. One, if UCLA is so ripe in financial possibilities in the Pac-12, why are they so deep in the hole in debt? If their football draw is not good right now, and they think it might get better by playing teams like Ohio State and Michigan occasionally coming into the Rose Bowl, as opposed to when they have, a busload of a few guys that came to the game this weekend against South Alabama, and Oregon State that's not packing that thing. And, of course, the Rose Bowl is a tough stadium to fill. It's gigantic. But if all those things are going on, and why is USC not included in the travel cost? They have the same exact distance to go. So I don't understand why it's better for UCLA and not USC to do this, considering UCLA is in debt, and they've been building up that debt while being a member of that conference.
UCLA is a state school. We've also been told, Tony Altomore has told us before, that they don't use any state funds. They pretty much do all their own with what they have, although, again, they've struggled to keep up with the bottom line, and that's also why it's enticing to go get $65 or $75 million a year with the upcoming connection to the Big Ten.
Can I see that tweet again? Can you pull that back up? I didn't understand the last part of that.
What he was saying is that if, in fact, the travel costs are so steep, that's why the Big Ten, to help them, you would think, is what he's insinuating, would add a couple of more. And again, this been
so
kind
Brett
of quiet.
McMurphy's saying, here's the Pac-12 commissioner saying why they're going to be better off, but here's why they really aren't, and he's full of it. Yeah, basically. Okay, now I get it.
It's been kind of fun. Not fun. It's been enjoyable for me that there really hasn't been much other than a spattering of a couple of notes about whatever might happen with realignment and whatever is the future of anybody, because the football games, for the most part, have taken control, and the college football playoff expansion. And that news 2 or 3 weeks ago has kind of slowed the roll of everything along the way.
Yeah, I think there's plenty of stuff that's probably going on behind the scenes in terms of, Washington, Oregon, whoever may be trying to, make a move still at this point. I mean, certainly there's nothing publicly that's been leaking out, like you said, since the games have been coming out. But, outside of a real declaration, I'm not sure what that would be. I mean, we know they've talked. We know they're talking. We know that that's not stopped. It's just that the whole public proclamations, once the Big Ten got their network deal, that stopped. That's what we were all waiting on to see, okay, is Oregon and Washington built into this? Is Notre Dame making a jump? Like, remember all those questions we had about a month and a half ago? Well, all those got answered when the Big Ten signed their deal, and everything just kind of stayed pat, and the season began. But I don't for one second believe that Oregon reps and Washington reps aren't still having their conversations, and whoever else is being talked to behind the scenes. I'm sure there are others, whether it's legitimate that they could ever make a move or not. I'm sure there's at least conversations taking place, because I sure don't feel like we're standing on solid ground all the way just yet, not by a long shot. So, yeah, it's been nice to have football kind of curtail a little bit of that, but it's still very much a hot topic, and I know there are lots of people that are still, very intrigued by the idea of where all the chips are going to fall, and, I see a few people that were wondering if, like, this weekend's results, like Washington winning, like, maybe increases their Big Ten chances. I don't know, like, something as individual as that, and I don't think that if you're the Big Ten, you're like, I'm not sure if we want Washington. Oh my gosh, they just destroyed Michigan State. Now we're going to invite them. I think there's a bit more to it than that. Yeah. And that would be kind of just a flimsy reason to invite them. But yeah, it's not going anywhere. It's just quieted down a little bit, but it sure seems like, just give it a couple weeks and it'll start percolating again.
West Blanket, hey, ask Oklahoma who